Commish, thanks for doing this. First of all, just how shocked or surprised were you at this news that Mike Shildt has been dismissed as the Cardinals manager?
Well, Mo said that the manager was very shocked, so I guess we all have to be feeling the same way. I mean, I kind of thought he'd have an extension in his pocket by now, and maybe it was offered. And I don't know what happened there, but he had a year to go on his contract. Generally, a guy that has been in 3 straight playoffs has got a new deal by now. But philosophical differences, it makes people wonder if the hitting philosophy and the hitting coach is involved in this, and it's hard to believe that there's not some kind of correlation there.
Yeah, I was on the radio when this happened, so I wasn't able to be on that Zoom. Does it seem like that it's something about, I know he was asked about Jeff Albert and the hitting philosophies, and what did John Mozeliak say that wasn't the sole reason, which led you to believe that could have been a reason?
Yes. I mean, that says it was a reason, I think, in itself. And then Mo said that Albert's under contract for next year, and he anticipates the coaches being back, which means that the likelihood of a successor coming from that group is pretty strong, I would think.
So do you think this had anything to do with any managerial decisions in the wild card game? Or when you say more philosophical differences, is it more big picture than just, for example, bringing in Alex Reyes in the wild card game or allowing Adam Wainwright to hit and decisions like that?
I don't think the decisions in that game had any bearing on this. I just think that Shildt had made it clear during the season he was not happy with the hitting approach, and in fact called a meeting to change the approach, as it were, in late June there. And it seemed to work better after that, but how that sat with the front office, I don't know. And how that sat with, because Mo hired Jeff Albert and made a staff-wide approach, with Jeff Albert as the lead man in this. So that's going to he's still going to be the hitting coach. And maybe at some point, Mike might have said, I don't think I can work with this anymore. I don't think I can do this. And maybe he drew a line in the sand. I don't know. Maybe he said, if he's back, I'm not, or something like that.
You've covered the Cardinals, obviously, for a long time. How rare is it to have a manager that has, for the Cardinals, this short of a stint running the club like Mike Shildt has? Because they've had a lot of guys that have managed the club for a long, long time.
Well, this is the shortest since Kenny Boyer, basically. I think back he went from 78 to 80. Then you came in with Whitey after that, 80 to 90, and Torrey 90 to 95, and LaRussa 96 to 2011, and Matheny 2011 and 2018, and Shildt till now. Yeah, so this was Kenny Boyer was and 2 consecutive short ones. Kenny Boyer, and right before that, Vern Rapp only had 2 years also. But this is a rarity. And then you had before that, from the next 64 to 70, 65 to 76, you had Red. So you go back, we're looking at 56 years here, and you've had only 3 managers that didn't make 4 full seasons.
And then the logical next question is who's next? And if you look at the last couple managers after Tony LaRussa, even though Mike Matheny wasn't in the game, he was a Cardinal guy. And then obviously Mike Shildt was on the staff. Do you think they go internal? You have Ali Marmol, you have Stubby Clapp. What's the short list for you of the next Cardinals manager?
That's the short list right there. I think they may entertain, you have to entertain outside people, and you have to interview minority candidates and everything else that is part of the protocol there. But I think they feel they're real close to winning here. And if the hitting coach's philosophy and the hitting coach are back, well, then you have to have somebody that can work with the hitting coach, and maybe the other coaches, other coach / soon to be manager could handle that. I don't think you're going to bring in a manager and pretty much say, well, the coaches are all going to be back. You can't bring in any coaches if you're going to be managing my team. Well, the manager's not going to take that. He's not going to go for that.
Even if that was somebody like, for example, a Skip Schumaker, who has been on another staff, who knows the Cardinals, played here, and is kind of part of that family.
He would be an outside candidate to consider, sure. I don't know how he's regarded outside of San Diego, though, as managerial timber. I mean, I'm sure they did. They wouldn't have made him the bench coach. he might get that job anyway out there. That job's open. So he's more likely to get that one than this one, since he's already there. But you got to ask about him. If he's interested in this job and shows an interest in interviewing, you have to go through the process of doing that, I think.
All right, my last question for you, and I'm asking you this half joking because, in the media, we root for storylines and fun. You got Tony LaRussa up there. Who knows if he'll be back with the White Sox? And man, one last ride with Yachty and Waino. What a story that would be.
He's got 2 more years in that deal. It'd be a great story. He's got 2 more years in that deal. And I think he's pretty happy with that club. And I think they just ran into a better club in Houston that last weekend. They had their pitching, which had carried them much of the season, just went south on them all of a sudden. They're better than that. The White Sox probably had a better team than Houston, but not that last week. So I don't think he's back. No, a good storyline though.
I had to ask. Okay, thanks, Commish. Appreciate your time. I didn't want to keep you too long there.
You bet, Charlie.